this one is Arvind Upadhyay, founder of the Great to Code. Here in this episodes, we are going to talk about stakes and introduction about stake and what are their operations like a INTG push button, pop empty, and time complexity operations, implementation, static and dynamic with comparison, and what are the applications for the stake and other things. So let's start. First one, we are going to discuss about introduction about stake. So what is the stake actually? Stake is the abstract data type that serve as a collection of the element with two main operation, and that two main operation is a push which add an element to the collection and pop which remove the most recently added element that was not yet removed. Its meaning what? Stake is simply like if you go to anywhere and just first in first out, first in first out. But if you go to the, if you have your books and you want to keep it at a table, and then you have to first in last out. What is the meaning? You put the first in the downside, and then you are going to get the book the first one upside one. So it's the meaning first in last out. Here you can see this image and some example like push button, and they are pushing themselves into the category. For example, you can see here I have pushed one here, and then I have pushed two here, and then three, then four, then five. But if I want to remove it, pop, it's like a push and pop, there are the two buttons in the stack. So if I want to pop it, then I'm going to get first what? First I'm going to see 5, then I'm going to 4, then I'm going to 3. So it's meaning what? It's like first in, first you are going to enter, and last you are going to out in this stack situation. So what are the stake operations? Stake operation is like a stake in the abstract data type that serve as the collection of the element with two main operation. There are the two main operation you need to keep in mind, that is push which add the element in the collection section, and the pop which remove the most recently added element that was not yet removed. So it's easy. Understanding stake in the linked list is so simpler, and that is only understand the push and the pop. Push is like when the element is adding the element in the collection, and pop is which remove the most recently added element that was not removed yet. So here with another example I am with you. Empty stake this one is, and here you have the push button, and you push it here, and then you have the push here. So first I put 1, and then I put 2, and then I put 3. So if I want to pop it, I want to take it, remove from it, I'm going to remove it third one first, because it's the lastly I have put it here, this one, this targeted one. So I am going to pop it from the last one. So it's the last one I get it pop there. So the Java until stake is empty. If you have the stake and is empty, like is empty, and so what you can do like is the stake empty or not? Is it true? And the stake is empty, yes, return false. So stake is empty. Parameter, this method doesn't take any parameters, so this function return the true of stake is empty, else return false. Okay, so let's just know about is fall and is empty, and is peak and everything. Like is full and is empty operation in stake. Is full is a return true of the stake is full, else return false. Empty is the opposite of the full, is the operation where true is the stake is empty or full. So if we talk about the peak, okay, so is peak in the stake operation. So in the computer science, basically we have a peak is an operation that certain abstract data type of specifically sequential connections such as stake, and q key which return the value of the front the collection of the element from the collection. Static and dynamic data structure, and they are different. So static data structure has a fixed memory size, whereas dynamic data structure, the size cannot be randomly updated during the runtime. which may be considered efficiently with respect to memory complexity of the easier access to element with respect to dynamic data structure. So what is static data structure? Static data structure, the size of the structure is fixed. The content of the data structure can be modified but without changing the memory space allocated to it. So you can see here, this is the array length, first index, then last index, and these are the your element as arrays indicates. What is the dynamic data structure? So dynamic data structure is the size of the structure is not fixed, and dynamic data structure size is not fixed and can be modified during the operation performed. So it's a design to facilitate changes in the data structure in the runtime, like a head data null. Example of the dynamic data structure is a linked list. So static data structure versus the dynamic data structure. Static data structure has a fixed memory, whereas the dynamic data structure, the size can be randomly updated during the runtime, which may be considered efficiently with respect to the memory complexity of the code. Static data structure provide more easier access to the element with respect to the dynamic data structure. Unlikely the static data structure, that dynamic structure are the flexible. What are the dynamic data structure uses and competitive programming? So in the competitive programming, this use the constant on the memory limit is not much higher, and we cannot exceed the memory limit. That given higher value of the constant, we cannot allocate the static data structure that size. So dynamic data structure can be useful. Data structure can be also useful. Now advantage of the static data structure: data type size is fixed, memory allocation before program execution, stack is used, less efficient than dynamic data structure, no memory reuse, overflow is not possible. Okay, so we have talked about the advantage of the static data static so why we don't talk about the advantage of dynamic data structure? Of course, so dynamic data structure is memory allocation is done during the program execution, heap is used, more efficient, memory reuse, overflow occur, data type size is not fixed.